The rain was falling hard that Thursday evening when Hannah's world turned upside down in the best possible way. Water poured down the streets like rivers, making everything look dark and scary outside her small apartment building. She had just come home from another terrible day at the bookstore where she worked as an assistant manager. She was tired, broke, and fed up with customers who treated her badly all day long. Hannah was trying to open her front door when she saw them sitting under the stairs near her apartment. A young man who looked about 30 years old was holding a little blonde girl who seemed to be around 4 years old. The man's clothes were soaking wet from the rain. His blue jacket was torn, and his eyes looked so sad and worried. He looked up at her but didn't ask for anything. He just sat there trying to keep the little girl dry by covering her with his jacket. If you believe that being kind to others is important, that everyone deserves a second chance, and that helping people is the right thing to do even when it's hard, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs to feel better, and follow Kindness Corner. When you support us, you help us share these stories that make the world a better place. Hannah stopped for just a moment. She had always thought she was the type of person who minded her own business and didn't get mixed up in other people's problems. But something about the little girl's red cheeks from the cold, her tiny shoes that were wet from the rain, and the way the man was trying so hard to protect her with his own body made Hannah feel something deep inside her heart. Without thinking too much about what might happen next, she just said, "You can come inside for a little while to get warm." The man didn't talk much. He looked shocked and not sure what to say before nodding his head and picking up the little girl to carry her inside. He seemed very thankful but didn't want to be a bother. Hannah let them sit by themselves while the man sat near the heater. She got them a clean towel and made some hot chocolate. He looked like someone who hadn't asked anyone for help in a very long time. She found out later that his name was Daniel, and the little girl, who was sweet and sleepy, was called Lily. That night changed how Hannah felt about everything. She didn't plan to let them stay more than a few hours, but the storm got worse. The buses stopped running, the roads became dangerous to drive on, and when the next day came, Lily had a small fever and Daniel looked like he hadn't slept for many days. Even though this wasn't something she usually did, Hannah made them breakfast, then gave them a blanket so they could take a nap, then said they could stay one more night. Soon one night became 3 nights. She learned small things about their lives while they drank coffee and ate quiet meals together. Daniel's wife had died. His wife had been killed in a bad car crash 2 years ago, and this left him alone to take care of a baby who was only 6 months old. Since that terrible day, he had been trying to build a new life. He had moved to a different city, left his job at a computer company, and had been looking for work everywhere. They had been living in cheap hotels, buying food from machines, and just trying to survive each day. Daniel was smart, nice, well-spoken, and was clearly working very hard not to let all his problems destroy him. Hannah couldn't understand why such a good man was having such bad luck. He seemed too smart, too careful, too good of a person. But life isn't fair, and Hannah knew this better than most people. Hannah had grown up watching her own mother, who was raising her alone, struggle to pay rent while working 2 different jobs. She had always carried that heavy feeling with her. Take care of yourself. Don't ask for help from others. Never let anyone see you fall apart. Maybe that's why she was so quick to let Daniel stay in her home. Maybe deep inside she saw herself in Lily and saw her own mother in the quiet strength that Daniel showed even when things were hard. 3 days became 4 days. Lily's fever went away. Daniel fixed her broken bathroom faucet to say thank you. Then he helped her clean up her messy storage room. He read bedtime stories to Lily on her sofa while Hannah worked quietly nearby, feeling strangely happy about the peaceful family feeling she didn't know she had been missing. Something special started to grow in that small apartment. It wasn't love, at least not yet, but it was something softer, more peaceful. It was like they understood each other. 2 people who were both caught in the same difficult time in life, finding a safe place to rest in each other's company. But everything changed completely on Monday morning. Hannah had a very important meeting that day. The bookstore had been bought by a new big company, and all the workers were going to meet the new boss during a meeting where everyone had to be there in person. She hurried to work, still wondering if she should give Daniel some money for food, or maybe help him find a place to rent for a short time. But the moment the meeting room doors opened and the new boss walked in, every thought left her mind. Completely. It was Daniel wearing an expensive black business suit, with his hair cut and styled perfectly, and Lily was nowhere around. He looked like a totally different person. The whole room became quiet with shock as he walked confidently to the front, said hello to the other bosses, and started his speech. Hannah sat there unable to move, unable to breathe properly. What was going on? How could this be happening? Daniel, no wait, Mr. Daniels, as he told everyone to call him, was apparently a former computer company boss who had just bought the bookstore as part of a new business plan. His speech was smooth, confident, and full of big ideas. He talked about changing how things worked, about making the workplace better, and about the need for bosses who cared about their workers' feelings in today's world. Hannah stared at him, trying to figure out how the man standing in front of her could be the same person who had been making simple pasta dinner in her kitchen the night before. After the meeting ended, their eyes met in the hallway. He looked at her with the same gentle thankfulness, the same quiet strength, but now with something else too. She could see he was sorry and that he knew this situation was confusing. He asked to talk to her alone, and in that small office with glass walls, he told her everything. He hadn't meant to lie to her. Actually, he had chosen not to tell her about his background because he wanted and needed to know what it felt like to receive kindness when people didn't know he had money or power. After his wife died and he almost lost himself completely, he had spent months living like a regular person in his own world, wanting to see who people really were when they thought he was just ordinary. Hannah had been the first person in a very long time to give him something without wanting anything back from him. He offered her a better job that day, not because he felt sorry for her, but because he had seen how hard she worked, how kind her heart was, and how good she was at leading people, even when things got stressful. But Hannah felt overwhelmed. She didn't know if she was angry or confused, thankful or hurt. She just needed time to think. For the next few weeks, she stayed away from him. She kept things related to work only, nodding during meetings, and not talking about personal things. But Daniel respected that she needed space. He didn't try to force her to talk to him. He continued doing his job quietly, and Hannah couldn't help but see how his way of leading changed the bookstore for the better. He let people choose their own work hours, gave everyone more money, added counselors for people who felt stressed, and listened to everyone from the newest workers to the oldest workers with the same humble attitude she had seen when he sat on her doorstep in the rain. And slowly, something inside her heart became softer. She started talking to Lily again, spending time with her after work, sharing small meals and gentle laughing. Finally, Hannah let herself feel again, let herself believe in second chances, not just for other people but for herself too. Because Daniel may have come into her life needing a place to stay. But somewhere during that time, she realized she had needed help too. She had needed someone to remind her that the world still had good men in it. That being kind to others doesn't go unnoticed. That sometimes the most amazing people show up during the most normal moments. By the time spring came, Hannah and Daniel were no longer just people who worked together. They were building something deeper, something based on honesty, on shared experiences, and on the quiet strength of two people who had both known what it was like to lose someone important, but never stopped believing that life could get better. If this story made you feel good inside, if it reminded you that love, kindness, and second chances are real things that happen, please like this video, share it with someone who needs to feel hopeful, and follow Kindness Corner. When you support us, you help us keep telling stories that are important. Special request before you leave, please write a comment. Have you ever helped someone without knowing who they really were? Or has someone ever helped you when you really needed it? We would love to hear your story.